What's going on, everyone, and welcome to SMITE 2 Open Beta 2 Update Patch Notes Review. My god. SMITE 2 Open Beta 2 124. I believe it's live now. I think some of the contents are live today. Some of them will be live another day. I am doing this live, so we'll see how that goes. What's going on, Shim? But yeah, I heard about this earlier today. I heard they're going to be doing a patch, basically a patch every new week if there's a new god coming in every single new week. So that's pretty cool. But just like SMITE 1, I'm going to go over every single patch, go over how I feel about it. I still am learning things from SMITE 2, so keep that in mind. But for the most part, I think I have an understanding of most of everything. But with that being said, the patch notes to, the URL to the patch notes will be in the description down below if you want to take a look at it yourself. But other than that, let's get into this. Like I said, I'm still streaming, so we'll see how that is. I'm gonna be interacting with chat if anyone says anything, so keep that in mind. All right, we're gonna go over the entire thing. We might glance over some things if it's not anything too crazy. All right, general changes. Add new HUD color. Settings to swap health bar map colors. Help colorblind players. Okay. Added contrast and color correction. Okay, cool. For you colorblind people. Added dual picks and bans as a custom lobby mode. That's actually pretty good. I'm thinking that they're adding dual as a custom mode so that people can just do the picks and bans part of it. I guess that wasn't in before. That's pretty cool. Added text chat to the end of match lobby. Let's go. Actually wanted this for a while. It just doesn't feel right not being able to talk to the players after. And so now we can talk to these people. More toxicity. It will add more toxicity, but it is cool to chat to people afterwards. I guess I never really appreciated being able to talk to somebody after the chat, whether it's just GG or just, you know, seeing interesting back and forth between people. Whether that's me involved or not. I guess I never really appreciated it until we didn't have it. So that's actually pretty cool. I like that a lot. I'm really hoping that they add a similar build system where they have a custom build from SMITE 1. So you can, you know, have your custom items in one slot so you can see that. And it makes videos where you're talking about builds for each god a lot easier. All right, I added zoom in and out functionality. While in game on PC, currently bound to the mice wheel, up and down with the ability to change and key binding settings. Cool. Added pinning functionality on God's page to save favorite gods to the top of the list. Oh, that's pretty cool. So if you want to have your Vulcan, your new god Vulcan is your favorite at the top. Pretty cool. All right, Conquest. Don't know too much about Conquest. I have an idea of it, but haven't really gone into the intricacies of Conquest quite yet. But let's see, purple buff now provides strength or intelligence depending on which is higher, so that's pretty cool. I did realize that purple buff doesn't act as what it used to back in the day. It gives you strength and intelligence, I believe 4 per stack, I think, something like that, but it does not give you pen, which is something different. Fire jump buff now provides strength or intelligence. So same thing. Layout update, increased height of some islands to block long lines of sight and other jungle camp areas. Added more length to some islands to block lines of sight through the jungle paths. Okay, jungle. I'm assuming that's probably because there's some effects that's not really supposed to happen. Being able to see stuff, I'm assuming. Jungle update, increased respawn time of side harpies from 8 seconds to 120. I'm guessing those are OP as shit. The amount of XP that they're getting. I did hear that there is a lot of XP, and getting XP and stuff like that is not too hard to get comparatively to SMITE 1. Reduced side Elder Harpy base gold reward from 17 to 10 seconds. Yeah, it makes sense. They're going to make it... Well, actually, respawn timer 80 seconds to 120, so they're making it 40 seconds longer. And then they're reducing it, so it must have been OP. So the same with the small harpy by 1. Reduced overall buff camp gold scaling from +3 every 3 seconds to +1.5 every 3 minutes. Obsidian dagger now only deals 500 damage. Yeah, so I guess the biggest thing here is the harpy. It had so much XP, so. All right. Now, joust and duel. I know me some joust. And a little bit of duel. I've been watching duel here and there. Updated tower portraits. So that's pretty cool. I'm guessing the little picture of the tower might be different. That or the in-game tower. Fix being able to channel the teleport while moving in Joust. I do know that if you try to channel the teleport, it doesn't work if you're getting attacked. Now you're able to move and channel at the same time, which is interesting. Adjusted collision in blue camp to prevent some abilities such as Hercules Boulder and Donza Moneybags from getting stuck outside the playable area. From getting stuck outside the playable area. Is that similar to like how the rock was? Give me one sec. Alright, so I'm guessing adjusted collision around blue camp to prevent some abilities such as Hercules Boulder and Moneybag from getting stuck outside the playable area. I'm guessing it is similar. I never had this issue before or heard this issue before. This is more of a bug fix. I guess there was a part where it would get stuck in the wall. So I'm assuming. Increase stealth zone area to fill the entire width of the path. But that's actually pretty cool. I do like that because if you remember, if you played enough of it, it's not an entire strip. It's like a little bit here and then it curves around. So like on the inner side closer to the purple buff, there actually isn't grass there, so you can be seen there. So I actually like having that entire thing there like that. Pushed initial spawn time further from 20 seconds to 25 seconds, which is nice. Takes longer to spawn, which means you aren't able to go over there as quickly. So it's actually more contestable, I believe. Lost Night stats. Oh yeah, we have a lot here. I guess before we look at it, for people who don't know, Lost Night was absolute cakewalk. 3 minutes in, you can solo it like as a hunter. Late game, you just kill it in seconds. It was the most... It was the easiest objective for the amount of stuff that you're getting for. So you get 20% pen. You take down their tower, or, you know, freeze the tower. And then you'd get fucking health and mana restore. It was a 0.8 per second, which is fucking ridiculous. So it needs to either not give as much, or they need to buff the fuck out of it, or preferably both. All right, so now has a maximum level of 25 and now stop scaling around 25 minutes. Increase base protections from 30 to 33, which is nice. Okay, so that means it's still gonna have to scale up technically better. Joust. Increase base physical power from 64 to 76. That was another thing. It did no fucking damage, so that's nice. We'll see how impactful that is. Joust increased base health from 2750 to 3k. I'm hoping that the scaling will be a lot better with that. But that's a great start, honestly. Decrease scaling max health from plus 360 to plus 350. Okay. Increase base physical power from 54 to 64 for that's dual. And in dual it was a really easy too. Increase max health from 2k to 2400 and decrease max scaling health from 360 to 175. That's actually crazy. Asterisk means it's already happened. Okay, so it's already got an increase in base health. So I mean, that's a good, that's like a good step in the right direction. I think it probably leads in a little bit more. I also think that it shouldn't be soloable. Something that is that impactful should not be soloable by a hunter. And with the idea that everyone knows that it's soloable, that's, I guess, like one thing, but I don't think something as good as that should be soloable. So I think they should add that effect that they had in Joust and Smite 1, where it adds a debuff of power and something else. I don't remember what it was. There was a debuff to you, so it would make it so much harder to solo until a late game, in which then you can solo as like a hunter. But it's a good step in the right direction. Lost Night buff, decreased penetration bonus from 20% to 15%. That's nice. I still think it should just be 10%. It was 0 before. We didn't have penetration before, so I think that should be down to 10, but still great. We step in the right directions, baby steps, see how this feels before going too overboard. Titan, decrease base physical power from 250 to 225. I don't like that. I think Titan being a Titan should have fucking damage. I don't know why we're getting rid of Titan. But yeah, like it smacks. It has Titan reset. You can't just go in there and solo it as easy because you'll reset its health. And it smacks you. It should smack you. Something as important as a fucking Titan, winning the game should not be like the easiest thing in the world to kill. I don't agree with this. I think it was fine where it was at, actually. Phoenix. Fix Joust. Phoenix is attacking faster than... Okay, I noticed this. Phoenixes would hit you faster. I thought it was an actual thing, and I genuinely liked it because it's like... It made the game, you had to think a little bit more about tower diving because you would just get fucking destroyed by a Phoenix. But I guess it was not a thing that was supposed to happen, so they fixed it and reduced it down from DPS 250 to 200, which I don't know. I kind of liked it where it was at. I don't like things that are just too easy. I know it's a casual, technically, game mode, but yeah, I don't know. Adjusted Phoenix leash radius so the back of it's more visible. Wait, adjusted Phoenix leash radius so the back of it's more visible. I'm guessing it's the lock-on radius. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I guess we'll figure that out. I'm assuming it's the light that hits you and it knows that you're targeting. And the back of it is more visible. I'm not entirely sure. But I am excited that they are doing something to Joust rather quickly too. A lot of the times they would change Joust things, but it would take like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, which made sense. It wasn't like the most popular game mode in the world, but seeing that they care, they show that they care a little bit. So I actually do like that they're even doing anything, which is good. So overall, a win. Whether or not it was like the most banger fucking buffs and nerfs for Joust, them paying attention to it is a win in my book, because historically they didn't. So Assault, we're gonna kind of skip through this, but healer rules have been added. If one team were to be randomly given a healer god, then the other team will also be given a healer god. That was sort of a thing in Smite 1. That's nice. These gods are placed in a tier list. Both teams receive gods from the same tier list. Tiers will be monitored and adjusted as more healer gods join the Smite 2 roster. So that was sort of a thing. There was like tier 1, 2, and 3 healers. You'd have like someone like Yamoja at like tier 3, really good healer. And then you'd have someone, I don't know, like Cupid at like a little bit lower tier because it wasn't as impactful. So yeah, actually, so Aphrodite's tier 1, Yamoja, Ra, really great healers. They don't have a tier 2. Tier 3, Cupid and Baron, not the greatest healers, but still heal nonetheless. There can only be one healer god on each team. Okay, so what gonna end up happening is there's gonna be like fucking 2 of these 3 gods on every single team. Or I'm sorry, 2 of the 3 gods played in a game, one of them being on each team. There only can be one healer god on each team. Players who do not have a healer god cannot reroll into... Wait, players who do not have a healer cannot reroll into a healer god. Okay, players who have a healer god can only reroll into a healer god. Interesting. So it looks like... when you do have a chance to reroll, you're not going to be a healer if you weren't originally a healer character, and then vice versa. If you were a healer, you're only going to get a healer character, which I think is how I like that. Updated tower and Titan portraits, so I'm assuming it's the same thing with Joust. Updated loading screen and God select lobby text to display random pick. Cool. Ranked conquest trio queue ranked matchmaking update. Ranked matchmaking imposes a hard limit on skill rating range in the match that expands over time. The longer a player waits, the wider the range possible. Trio queue is healthy for the top end of ranked funnel and brings some new ranked players. But under the standard set of ranked matchmaking, rules create undesirable outcomes, especially with top ranked players. We're working towards future technical ability to limit party sizes based on their skill rating that may follow in a future patch. Okay, parties of 3 will be evaluated based on the maximum of their skill rating. The party parties of size 3 will be hard limited to matches with a range of capping at 5k. 311 or 311 versus 2111. What? 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm assuming that means 2 players queued together, 3 that were not. 3 queued together and 2 was removed from the viable matchmaking pool and ranked. Okay. So it seems like they didn't like what trio queue has been. They're going to reevaluate it seems like. Or they're making it a little bit more. I'm not entirely sure the matchmaking thing. I never really paid too much attention to it. Some bug fixes. I've seen some pretty funny bugs where like someone, I think like the game, like they were in the game, but Smite 2 bugged out and brought them back to the main menu, and it counted them as a loss even though they were in game. and so they did it like 3 or 4 times. They technically lost 3 to 4 games just by existing. So interesting. Regional ranked update. Okay. To do increased population, but we want closely. Okay, interesting. So Oceania, South Side, Latin America. Backfill disabled, and ranked backfill as a system was causing near random. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the ranked system is like. Guess I could do some more digging into that, but for the most part, I don't know. But I do like that they are paying attention more to like the matchmaking, because that was always one of the biggest issues, and they have like a whole entire team dedicated for it. People like, you know, going in and doing the ins and outs of ranked for a game, not necessarily like small, but you know, has a very consistent number of people playing. All right, matchmaking, team balancing update. Discrepancies with how teams were balanced were uncovered, and the first potential fix being implemented. We'll continue on this front. Examples of this issue previously looked like matches where 1 or 2 players swaps made logical sense to create a more balanced match state. This incoming fix affects both casual and ranked matchmaking. So this is good. So I like it. More balancing. That was always an issue with Smite, at least with Smite 1, whether it was casual or ranked. So I do like that they are paying attention more to the matchmaking. Practice replacing Mirrorbot with a target dummy totem. Interesting. 0 base protections. Max health can be configured. That was always one thing I had wanted to figure out more information on, was like the protections, the damage. Like what exactly is it? Just a base god? What is it? I'd have to look up the base of a god that I would be playing or something. I think that's what it was, but the target dummy has 0 base protection. Interesting. And then you just be adjusting its level. 1 level equals 250 health. Cool. Different god bots can be spawned by cycling through portraits next to the spawn. That's interesting. I like that as well. Being able to spawn a more tankier god would be cool, and then spawning a god that isn't as tanky. New added protections to a god. That's good. I think we needed that anyways. That's really good. Apply settings to bots. This should now more accurately apply to the god bot directly in your crosshairs. Okay. And we got the new god. I did see a lot of the Vulcan and Hunbats features. Backfire increased the projectile speed. Master Craftsman. In addition to movement speed and mana regen for hitting enemy gods with abilities, Vulcan has access to a variety of mods and item shop that affect his abilities. There are 3 sets of mods available at different levels. You can only have 1 mod from each set. Mods cannot be sold. So mod 1, so they're all, I believe, 0 gold, but you can pick a path that you want. So you'll place down a Thumper. You can, or you don't. If you don't want to, you don't have to get the Thumper. But Thumper pulls down an attack around every 1 second that deal base damage plus intelligence scaling. Dual mod, gaining access to Thumper's turret in your first consumable slot. This will occupy the slot for the entire game. I'm sorry, what's this one again? Gain access to Thumper turret by alternating between Inferno Cannon and Thumper each ability activation. Dual mod will let you have both of them at the same time. But it will take up a slot, which for some people might be good, some people it might not be. I think this would be great for me. Efficiency mod do not gain access to their ability, but instead you gain your passive grants 10 CDR in addition to other effects when triggered. Efficiency mod, I think you can do that. Obviously dual mod's more fun, but also I still think it's better too. So but like at level 7 you get another set of mods. It's so cool. Thumper gains 150 HP and applies an attack speed debuff. So if you're going up against, a lot of this actually helps with making more of a wide variety of characters more accessible to certain builds and stuff. So you can have a solo lane fucking Vulcan, which is kind of crazy, because you can, use this. You can buy this Resonator mod if you're going up against a auto attack heavy team, and you can, do that. Reduce their attack speed. Shrapnel mode increased, Inferno Cannon applies additional damage over time on hit 6 times over 3 seconds. So you'll be getting more damage done to them, which is nice over time. Backfire and Magma Bomb deal 20 plus 10% int bonus magical damage. And this one will allow you to do more damage with your regular abilities. I do like all of these actually. They're actually in a lot of cases pretty good. This one's going to be a little bit more niche, but it still has its as its play. I think Strapable mod is probably going to be the best one. That and Thermal mod if you want to be more of an actual Vulcan player rather than like a turret player. And then at level 14, you get your last mod. Thumper gains a 300 increased HP, applies physical and magical protection buff to ally guys. So you can see like one set is more for like a tanky solo build. Is this applies physical magical protection buff to allied guys, which is a decent amount too. You can have 2 Inferno Cannons to play at the same time. That's fucking insane. That's pretty good. Love that. And then Earth Shaker trembles enemies it hits for 2 seconds, which is also very good too. So it's more of like a, you know, solo lane. And then your second mod is more of like, you know, yes, your turret. You're really helping out your turret. And your third one is more of like you're gonna do more damage and stuff, more added effects to Vulcan itself, which is really cool. I like this system. It allows more playability and utility around a god into different areas, and it's just more things to have, which is really good. I like that. All right, so a lot of these are going to be pretty standard stuff, so we'll probably glance through this. So, you know, obviously going to have range attacks, deal magical damage. It only uses intelligence, so that is going to be one thing, only intelligence. So his builds are going to be rather simple, except maybe if you're going to be like a more of a solo bruisery type of kit. But Master Craftsman, Vulcan has access to a variety of mods. Yep, you see that. There are 3 sets of mods, so you can have 1 of each from each set. So you have maximum of 3, obviously. Hitting enemy god with an ability grants movement speed. That's the same. It's the same type of thing. Backfire fire projectile that causes you to dash back, deal magical damage. Inferno cannons will prioritize hitting the marked god and deal more damage to them. So one thing, if you do hit your backfire, you know, whatever is hit by that, the Inferno Cannon will prioritize that, which is interesting, and actually has some playability if you can, you know, utilize that well. Your Inferno Cannon, just throwing them out, dealing basically the same thing. Inherits Vulcan's penetration in addition to having 25% base penetration, which is fucking insane. And then, unlike Smite 1, Inferno Cannon does not trigger item effects. Tuesday 311 and the 2111 is ranked Q. Wait, so I'm reading chat. Tuesday 311 and the 2111 is ranked Q. Yeah, is that saying like 2 people are queued together and the other 3 are solo? Anyways, we'll get an answer on that later. Yeah, okay, so that's what sort of what I thought. Okay. Lob a projectile that explodes and impact on the ground, doing magical damage, displacing them. So same thing, and then launching the Earth Shaker deals more damage further away. And then you got your Thumper if you want it. So a lot of playability. I like Vulcan, generally speaking, and I think the Thumper is just an absolute stellar idea, and I like it a lot. So I do think that Vulcan, as of this video is being released, is up today. As Hunbats will be released in about a week, February 3rd. He's got some cool things, not as in-depth as Vulcan, but still very cool. Infused strikes. When Hunbat successfully hits an enemy with an infused strike basic attack, in addition to dealing 1.2 times damage, it also grants Hunbats a strength buff that lasts stacks before. So basically similar to Smite 1 Hunbats. That's his passive. Somersault. Remove the pre-fire time. Hunbats now deals damage and slows enemies around him at the location where he takes off. And in addition to the location where he lands, Hunbats now deals damage and slows enemies around him at the location where he takes off. In addition to the location where he lands. Gotcha. So yeah, that was one thing I did see. When you jump off, you're going to do damage, which is kind of weird. I wonder how many kills you can get from that, but you can up down and actually do a lot more damage now. Not that you'll necessarily want to do that, but enemies hit by both areas in the same enemies hit by both areas in the same lead will take 25% damage from the second hit. Okay, so it's not going to be doing as much damage. The DPS is going to reduce. Overhand smash. Hunbats now howls while channeling, applying a stacking physical protection debuff to the targets in the area. Up to 6 protections, stacks up to 4 times. So at the end of it, you can actually have up to 24 So that's pretty cool. So these are, I guess, the new things added too. I believe was this the same thing? Actually, we can go ahead and look. Okay, so yeah, it was the basic attack, so it may have mini Hydra's effect, but for this one, it also gives him a buff when hitting an enemy with auto. So that's the new part, the latter part of this. All right, so basic thing, deals only physical damage, melee, uses only strength, which is going to be obviously a pretty simple build path if you seeing as he only builds strength, I mean. So all these are going to be the same, stuff like that. Sacred monkey throwing a projectile monkey that deals physical damage to enemy enemies. It hits after throwing an enemy with nearby ones, applying a mark to only the most recent enemy hit. Reactivate the teleport, which is cool. And then you are going to be still displacement immunities too, just like before. And that's Hunbats. He does have an aspect though. So does Vulcan. So Vulcan, aspect of fortification. Vulcan's passive gains being near one of your turrets grants you and the turret increased protections and health regeneration. Backfire and Magma Bomb have lower damage scaling. So this obviously is going to be more of a solo playstyle. He's not going to be necessarily a support. He doesn't have that in his kit, but being able to play him support is definitely going to be a viable and pretty good thing. You know, solo laners are not necessarily known for their scaling and damage. It's like raw damage that they do. And so this will actually be a very interesting playstyle. Hunbats, infused strikes, aspect of disruption. Strikes slow gods hits by them, but do not grant Hunbats the stacking strength buff. So instead of, if you do this, you're not going to actually have the buff, and you're going to be more of a solo type player, and you're going to be hitting them and slowing them with your autos. And then overhand smash stuns gods hit by it, but deals reduced damage. So that's also, you're not going to be doing as much damage, but you do have a stun, which makes him way better in like utility. So like hybrid Hunbats is in there, baby. All right, Sobek, aspect of prey. Charge prey now passes through all targets and knocks them forward. Sickening strikes cooldown reduction now additionally triggers off jungle monsters, but healing is halved. Passes through all targets and knocks them forward, which is interesting. I have to see how that. I didn't actually see if they did like a Titan talk about this. I don't know what this looks like, but from what it sounds like, that sounds crazy. So instead of, you know, stabbing them and then bringing them back, I'm assuming, you're just gonna target them and knock them forward. That's interesting. So almost sort of like a fucking Herc. Sickening strikes cooldown reduction now additionally triggers off jungle monsters, but healing is halved. So you can actually have more utility with it, but your healing is halved. Interesting. I'll have to see how that plays. I believe that's how it is. Like, I will have to see. Aspect of reverberation for Ares. Call to arms no longer grants protections or affects allies. Instead, Ares empowers a shield for his next basic attack, stunning the target and spreading damage to nearby enemies. So damage, 30 to 50% of empowered shield hits. Stun duration. Damage can apply basic attack item effects. That's kind of wild. Being able to throw your one, using your two auto, stunning them, using your one, and then it actually guarantees your next stun if you can do it like that. Or you can, if you get close, use your two, stun them, and that guarantees a pull or a chain, which actually is, that's actually pretty cool. That kind of turns him more into a solo laner though, because now you're not, you're not providing any protections for your allies. But honestly, I mean, if playing solo, you don't need it. So he turns him more into a solo laner. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how impactful that will be. We'll have to see. Giving someone a stun is pretty impactful. So I'm assuming it will be. Sobex is going to be interesting. It just seems like a Herc one. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a longer Herc one. Don't know. We'll see. All right, now we're going into items. So there's new Gilded Arrow from last Smite 1. This is going to be a starter item, giving 25 basic attack power, 8% life steal, which it did not have before. And every 8 seconds, the highest health enemy, minion, or jungle monster within 12.8 meters of you is marked. If you secure the killing blow on the target, you gain 4 bonus go to 5% attack speed and restore 30 mana. Requires level 20 to upgrade. So, yeah. Same thing, you're just adding lifesteal, which I don't think lifesteal for hunters is all that great. So until they change lifesteal, or maybe if I'm tripping, I don't know. I don't think lifesteal is all that great on hunters specifically as well. Sharpshooter's arrow, let's see this. 60 basic attack power, which is nice. 10% attack speed, 50% lifesteal, and 15% critical chance. So it's sort of taking from the last one. All sources of gold gain are increased by 5%. Basic attack damage is increased by 20% when hitting a target over 7.5 meters away. That's an interesting one. That increased gold, all sources, is pretty cool. I mean, you're going to be level 20. Your build's going to be pretty much online. But that could allow you to stack, if the game goes on long enough, you can stack some 3K pots. Lifesteal is minimal, 10% attack speed is okay. 60 basic tower is nice. And then the critical strike chance is pretty good. Can get up to like 100% crit if you build crit, so that'd be a pretty cool late game crit item. And then obviously if you are autoing from, that's actually pretty good too, if you are autoing from 7.5 meters away. But overall doesn't strike me as something OP. It looks like something that they'll probably have to tweak, because it kind of does look a little meh. Like, I think it's still a very good item, it has a lot of fucking stats. But, you know, the extra gold by end game's cool. I don't know how impactful that'd be. And then having like a thing where it's like you have to be 7.5 meters away. It's all right. Some of the stats are decent, but nothing crazy in my eyes, which is honestly fine. But we'll have to see how it actually feels in the game. Going on to balance. My God, how much do we have left? Okay, pretty decent amount, but that's basically bug fixes. So we'll go through these. Actually, not too much. So, item Stampede nerf. Absolutely needed. Decrease physical protection 55 to 45. Good. Decrease active buff duration from seconds to 4 seconds. Very good. Remove an active attack speed buff. Wow. Okay, they kind of fucking destroyed that. I mean, it's still going to be a solid item. They may have gutted that a little too much, but I think Stampede, I think, was fucking OP as shit. So they needed to fucking change that. Still going to be an okay, pretty solid, not bad item. Screeching Gargoyle was obviously a fucking bloated item. Decrease cooldown rate by 5. Decrease active perfection debuff from 20 to 10%. Still silences for 2 seconds, which is still nice. So I don't think that's gonna be. I mean, obviously this is a pretty big debuff. Cooldown rates, whatever, not that impactful, but the active protection debuff is a lot. I still think it's gonna be a solid item though. Tekko Kage nerf. Decrease passive movement speed from 3% to 2%. So I believe every 3 times you use a mana ability, so you get up to 9, maximum is 3 stacks, so it'd be 9%. So now you're getting 9 to 6%, which is still, I mean, you still get the extra cooldown as well. So I mean, 6 to 9%, you're missing 3% movement speed. Still impactful, but you know, nothing crazy. Still a very good item. Gemma Focus nerf. Decrease passive movement speed from 3% to 2%. So sort of like the same thing. Still going to be a very good item. Still very cheap for what it gives you. Soul Gem nerf. That's what we probably needed, right? Decrease intelligence from 75 to 65. So 10 power. I guess they're taking more like from what they learned from Smite 1 to Smite 2. Pretty small changes. Outside of Stampede. Stampede get fucking gutted. But 10 power, 10 intelligence. I mean, one thing about Soul Gem that was really good was that it was a pretty cheap item that gave you a bunch of fucking early game stats that like a item like Book of Thoth wouldn't give you right away. And so that was always like a bang for your buck. So I think, you know, reducing that bang for your buck with Soul Gem is going to make it more in line. I think 10 intelligence, they probably could have done a little bit more. Maybe 5 intelligence and changed something else on it. I don't know. Maybe the healing factor of it. But that's still a pretty decent buff. Kinsblade nerf. This item was fucking broken, dude. I don't know why they thought like they added the extra part of fucking Kins and they thought that part was going to be okay. Kinsblade nerf. Decrease passive max health damage from 3.5 to 3%. That's pretty good. 0.5 may not seem like a lot, but it is pretty good. But yeah, the 0.5 doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when it comes to the amount of max health. So, sorry, I got a sub alert from the old goat Hefe. So passive reward. If the target has more max health than you, deal an additional 4% of difference in max health. So that was the thing. It was an additional 4% of difference in max health. So if you have 3k health and the enemy god has like 2k, which isn't really hard to do with the amount of fucking health you can get in Smite. Fucking squishies are getting up to like 2,500. The difference between 2k and 3k is 1k. You take 4% of 1k, and that's 40. So you do an extra 40 damage a fucking hit. That's fucking insane to me. Plus the original, yeah, that was fucking broken. But now if the target has more max health than you, as it should be, you should not be doing insane damage to squishies because they're a squishy. That made no sense to me. So if it has more health than you, that should have been a thing to begin with. So still a very good item on your hunters. It's just not going to be as impactful in killing squishies. That was the biggest thing. All right, the World Stone buff. Adjusted recipe from Ring of Dispel plus Oracle Staff to Oracle Staff plus Oracle Staff. I don't know the smaller ones, the ones that you increase into. Remove cooldown rate, increase mana from 150 to 350, increase mana regen from 2 to 3, and then increase passive ultimate cooldown. Oh wait, increase passive ultimate cooldown reduction from 20% to 30%. Wow, okay, that's a lot of fucking shit right there. Let's go actually take a look at the item. Okay, so this one, so intelligence, max mana, your ultimate cooldown is reduced by 30%. So honestly, I did like the cooldown rate from it. Giving an extra 200 max mana though is pretty good. And that's pretty good regen. But an extra 10% on the cooldown reduction might just be something impressive. This was always a weird item for me, I think. I don't really buy this a lot. Like, it's 2,800 gold. Your ultimate cooldown is reduced by 30%. That's good, but like, I don't know. It's a little too expensive. So I think. Chronos Pendant, increased intelligence 40-50, a little bit more. I've always seen Chronos Pendant as 40 is a little bit crazy. I know it gives you cooldown and everything, but yeah, I thought maybe, you know, a little bit more. Bloodbound Book was just never bought. Decrease it by 100, increase intelligence by 10. There might be more of an incentive to pick up. Dagger of Frenzy was another item. I love this item, but for some people, I like having that active increase. Like, it's almost like you have a what is the shard, the attack speed shard in Smite 1. It's like you have that all the time, and it gave you a lot of fucking strength. 40 strength was a decent amount. Increased active damage per level from 2 to 3. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick. So yeah, no, attack speed was not the craziest thing, but it's 2,500 gold. Not the most expensive, not the cheapest, but so you gain 10 plus 3 per level basic attack. So, I mean, what is that per level, right? Yeah, so you're getting an extra 20 at level 20. I mean, I'm going to be picking this up a little bit more. 50 powers for that cheap of an item. Plus you get that fucking active. I don't know, man. High anemia line buff. Adjusted. This item never really, I mean, like, I could feel a little bit more in the Smite one, but nah. Adjusted damage reflect to be pre-mitigation instead of post-mitigation. Let's actually take a look at it again. Where am I not? Here it is. So reflects 15% of pre-mitigated basic attack damage back to the attacker as physical damage. Reflects 30% of all pre-mitigated damage back to. So, okay. So is it? I'm trying to remember exactly what this was. So post mitigation, meaning that after mitigation is included, now it's going to be pre-mitigation, so you're going to be doing more damage reflect to them is what I'm getting. So that's pretty good. We'll have to see how impactful that is. That would be interesting. I might make it to where I honestly think that with the state of hunters being so fucking OP, there's gotta be a reliable anti-ADC. Now, we don't want to go too far with it. Like this, maybe. I want it to be obviously a bounce. But, you know, things like Midgardian Mail in the last game, Smite 1, was a pretty decent counter. Like, it would counter them. It wouldn't shut them down completely, but it would counter them. So hopefully this is something like that. Avenging Blade buff decreased from 26 to 2400. That is fucking cheap as shit. I love Avenging Blade, and it's not the craziest thing in Joust, obviously, but you know, reducing their protections and increasing movement speed's pretty fucking good. You get 60 strength, which is crazy. I love that item. I like the idea of the item, so that's pretty cool. Wasn't really picked up a lot. Warrior's Axe buff, decreased passive cooldown from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, so you're gonna be spamming out more damage. 20%. Sundering Axe, same exact thing. War Flag buff and decreased max stacks from 10 to 6. Increased movement speed per stack from 0.25 to 0.5. 100%, or 100% increase. Increased attack speed per stack from 50 to 1.25. Oh my god. Okay. So they're buffing the hell out of War Flag, which is nice. And then similarly with Warband when you level it up. Arrow's bow buff was a stupid item, or I don't think it's stupid item. I just was so unimpactful. Decreased active cooldown from 10 seconds to 1. Oh my fucking god. Okay, so I do like this site because it does automatically update it, so I can just see exactly what the hell I'm looking at. Because oh my god, that is insane. Where is it? Here it is. Each basic attack that hits an enemy heals a mark for 2 seconds to your mark. So every 1 second, 2300. So we'll see how good that is, because that's basically you're having it up every second. Oh my god. Now that might be something I want to try out on like Cupid or like Amma or Bologna. The mark is now indefinite until a new mark is selected or the mark allies further. Okay, that's what it should have been from the start. That's really good. I know why they're probably a little hesitant on it, but 10 seconds to make the item so fucking unimpactful. So that might be something really good for Joust, making auto attackers really fucking good. So we'll have to try that out. Shifter Shield Shift now grants either 40 strength or 55 up from 40 intelligence, and depending on which stat is higher. Okay. It's 40 strength or 55 intelligence, depending on which stat is higher. Okay. So it's not going to be both. And I guess that was one of the biggest things that gave both, which is crazy, I guess, for people who have a lot of strength and intelligence scaling. All right, Boomba's Gold Dagger description update changed AoE munchness from non-minion to jungle monsters. Gotcha, interesting. So with all these buffs, Stampede's probably got fucking gutted. If this was like an S item, this probably brought it down to maybe A, if we're thinking like S, A plus A, probably like an A item. Gargoyle is still going to be really good, probably A plus item. Tekakage is still going to be very good. Gem of Focus, Soul Gem, still going to be pretty solid, I think. Kinsblade's going to be... It's going to be worse, but better. No, it's going to be worse overall. But it's going to be more aligned for Hunters, which I think it should have been. Everything else is pretty solid. I'm curious about Eros Bow. Really curious about that. God's Uller nerf needed it. He definitely did so much damage. Decreased movement speed from 15 to 25% to 10 to 20. Increased cooldown from 14 to 15. That's a really long. I mean, but you're building a lot of cooldown on them anyways. Decreased strength from 10 to 34 to 10 to 30. So pretty decent buff. Nothing insane. So he's still gonna be very good. Medusa definitely needed a nerf. Viper Shot decreased damage protect from 15 to 35 to 10 to 30. Extra 5. It's still gonna be doing a lot of damage. Let me tell you. Decreased attack speed from 60% to 40 to 60. Having a 60% attack stim is insane. I'm gonna be posting a Medusa video where I fucking one shot. It fucking insane. Xingwei nerf. Persistent Gust. Decreased damage from 80 to 280 to 70 to 70. So small. Then increased cooldown from 13 to 11 to 13 at all ranks. Thanatos nerf, Aspect of yeah, when I was looking at Aspect of Reaping, I was like, dude, solo lane Thanatos kind of sounds insane. The amount of healing you get. Decreased bonus damage scaling from 5% max health to 3.5% max health. Yeah, almost half. We're getting close to half, not almost half. Decreased bonus heal scaling from 1% max health to 0.75% max health. Yeah, so I mean, like the extra shit you get from your 3 was pretty fucking good. Hecate, oh my god, Hecate would fucking hit like a truck too. Decreased bonus damage from 10 to 30 plus 5% to 10 to 22 plus 3.5%. So I do like that they're fucking nerfing that. That did a lot of damage. And then Spell Eater decreased damage scaling from 50% to 40% intelligence, and increased cooldown from 8 to 9 seconds. I do like this. This is a pretty decent nerf. Aladdin finally getting a fucking nerf. My god, this god is insane. Sultan's Grace decreased dash damage from scaling from 65 strength to 75% intelligence to 55 strength to 65 intelligence. So pretty standard, just by 10%. Do less damage. Decrease punch damage from 30 to 90 plus 45 strength and 25 intelligence to 24 to 80. So, you know, it scales up, I believe, as it goes up, and 5% of each, which is actually a decent amount per punch. Agile Run decreases landing damage scaling from 45% strength plus 60 intelligence to 40 to 55. Pretty similar, small scaling, but overall, all of these ones are gonna, you know, pile up. Decreased genie damage scaling from 60%, 60 to 30, 60 plus 30 in to 50 strength plus 25 in. Okay, so they're decreasing the strength on that a little bit more. But yeah, that's still obviously less intelligence, or less, I'm sorry, less scaling. Decrease max leap range from 10.4 to 8.8. Oh, okay. Decrease max leap. Okay, so yeah, his leap, you could fucking go across the entire map, obviously. So that's pretty cool. Decrease non-combat increased. Decrease non-combat increased damage. What? Decrease non-combatant increased damage from combatants from 25% to 12.5%. Okay. So they're cutting the amount of damage that you would do to non-combatants, and I'm not entirely sure what this actually means. Decreased non-combatant increased damage from combatants from 25% to 12.5. Whatever, they're cutting the damage in half to non-combatants, I think. I'll have to read that later because I don't know what that exactly means. All right, I'm here to decipher this. I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the point in which I talk about this in the video. But basically, when Aladdin throws out his ult, he goes into the 1v1 and people join. That the non-combatants are the people that join, whereas him being the combatant, he does increase damage to them. So decreased non-combatant increased damage from combatants is a wild statement. I've got to say, it's fitting because Hi-Rez does this a lot, but that is a wild statement. Makes sense, but you just could have worded it a little bit better. Basically, non-combatants take increased damage from combatants like Aladdin. So when they're in there and someone goes into it, they'll take increased damage from Aladdin. And it was 25%. Now it's being reduced to 12.5. The decreased non-combatant increased damage. They're cutting it in half. Like I said, I think this is it's a pretty big, like, not like in terms of not the amount of, I'm sorry. It's a big nerf in the amount of things that are getting nerfed, but I'm gonna be honest, I think they need a little bit more nerf. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to like make it a slight thing to see how much it affects it, but the amount of damage, the getaway that he has with his 3 and his 2, and in his savability with his ult to be able to just increase all of his health, it's absolutely broken. So that's what that is. I'm gonna continue with the video. Aphrodite nerf. Kiss decreased movement speed from 6% to 10 to 6 to 8. Decreased shaded protections from 10 to 8. Aphrodite is obviously very fucking good. Raw shift divine light decreased solar ray damage from 25 to 135 to 10. Oh my god, what? What? Decreased solar ray damage from 25 to 135 to 10 to 50. Wow. Increased solar ray damage scaling from 50. Okay, so I guess they're kind of balancing it with intelligence. It did too much base damage, so I guess that makes sense. So when you were support raw, you'd be doing so much base damage. To change that, they don't want you to be doing as much damage, and so, you know, intelligence is going to make it to where damage raw still can be doing a lot of damage, just not with the base. Poseidon buff title surge. I think he felt a little underwhelming, a little bit, I'm not gonna say. Or I might, the fuck did I just say? Little underwhelming, I might say. Increased damage from 90 to 250 plus 65 int to 100 to 260 plus 70% int. Whirlpool revert, increased damage scaling predict from 15% to 20%. And then partial revert on the Kraken, increased inner ring scaling from 90. Okay, so if you're inside that bitch, you're getting cooked. Bacchus buff, belly flop revert, decreased cooldown from 15 to 14. I do remember that that nerf. Belch of the Gods, partial revert, decrease from 13 to 11 to 12 to 10, so an extra 1. So they are buffing him a little bit. Soul's getting a pretty big buff. Oh my god. Radiance increased damage from 35 to 135 to 45 to 145. Decreased cooldown from 11 to 10. Stellar Burst. Fixed an issue where this ability description had the incorrect range. Fixed an issue where this ability consumed Polynomicon when thrown. Okay, so these are just bugs. Okay, so but she's doing a little bit more damage. Supernova reduced subsequent hit reduction from 75 to 35. Then 70 for further subsequent hits. I.e. first hit equals 0 reduction. Second hit equals 35% reduction. Other hits is 70% reduction. Okay, so your second hit's still going to be doing a lot of damage, but the other hits will be doing a lot less. Okay, so that's just obviously be doing more damage. All right, Neath buff. She seemed a little underwhelming too. Increased damage on her 1, scaling from 90, 70 to 95 to 75. It's an extra 5% scaling, which is nice, especially if you want to go full damage. Unravel, increased damage from 70 to 255 plus 50 plus 80 to 80 to... Oh god, there's so many numbers here. Overall, you're going to be, wow, a lot more damage. From 255 to 280, scaling up because initially you have 75, 80. And then your intelligence increase, so a little bit more than the strength, but still have a lot more scaling with that. And then backflip, added 30% slow for 2, 3, 3.5, and 4 seconds on hit. So when you level it up, you're going to be doing a pretty long slow, which is nice. A lot more scaling, more damage potential. Donza buff, dishonest duplication, fixed an issue where Donza's clone was not getting any stats from Donza Burrow when dealing basic attack damage. Okay. Significant rebalance pass and general disability should feel similar at low amounts of strength and intelligence while being a bit stronger than it currently is at higher amounts of strength and intelligence. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. Now deals 10 plus 1 per level damage. So you're 20, you're going to be doing fucking 30. Non-talent equals 10% basic attack damage. Talent equals 12.5 upwards to 17.5 basic attack damage. Interesting. There's a lot there. But you'll be doing a little bit. They fixed the issues with that. They'll be doing more damage with scaling and everything, which is nice. Alluring Spirits, decreased cooldown from 16 to 12 to 14 to 12. So initially you're gonna have a lot more. You're gonna have a lot more up, but eventually it's gonna be the same. Tanuki Trickery, increased damage from 10 to 50 to 20 to 60. Fixed an issue where this was always using rank 1 damage. That's wild. So Donza's getting a decent buff too. No, not bad. Cabrakan probably, yeah, definitely needed a buff. He did not feel crazy. So Cabrakan buff, Shadow Zone, increased damage mitigation from 3% to 4%, which is really nice. Actually, let's take a look at the amount of times it stacks. All right. You and nearby allies take a reduced damage to deal increased damage to enemies that damage you or nearby allies. Okay, so he actually just... I thought this stacked, honestly. It doesn't stack. It's just 4% damage mitigation. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Increased damage from 65 to 265 to 80 to... This was always felt really underwhelming, I want to be honest. The amount of damage did. Now it's be doing... And this is a ability I usually level up first. You're going to be doing an extra 35 damage. Flat. That's pretty good on each. So, it's pretty good. 70 overall if you can put them both together. Seismic Crush, increased damage from 65 to 225 to 80 to 260. Oh, sheesh. A lot more damage, I will say, which was nice. That was one of the things I felt like was lacking. Everything else was fine. Susano buff, Stormkata, increased strike damage from 40 to 140 plus strength to 10 more damage overall. So 5% more increased scaling. That's on the first one, though. Increased spin damage from 40 to 140. So basically the exact same thing. Actually, the exact same thing. Okay, so the exact same thing. Decreased cooldown Increase cooldown from 14 to 10 to 12 to 10. So it's gonna be the same, obviously, but initially be better. Typhoon, increased damage per tick from 10 to 30 plus strength. So you're actually getting 2% more strength, and you're getting a little bit more damage, 5%. So he's getting like a small buff, but overall it starts to stack up to be a decent buff. Increased max damage from 200 to 440 to 105 to 210 to 450, so 10 overall. Again, an extra 10% strength, or 5% strength though. And then decrease the cooldown from 100 to 90. All right, and then finally, Nemesis buff. I honestly thought Nemesis was in a good spot. I guess we're buffing her. Swift Vengeance, decrease cooldown from 13 to 11 to 11 at all ranks, which is nice. Nice. Slice and Dice, increasing damage. That's crazy. An extra flat damage, which is actually going to help the more solo version of Nem. Honestly, I thought she was in a good position anyways with her fucking aspect. Her aspect's really fucking good, I feel. And then we got some bug fixes. Nothing crazy. Oh, maps. Fix the case for Phoenixes will not target enemy god who recently damaged a friendly god. If that enemy god was inside the Phoenix radius when it spawned and the Phoenix's first target was a minion. I have actually had this happen a few times. I was like, how the fuck does this work? Fix, they spawn the conquest, the adjusted pathing radius is small. Okay. So there you go. That is the entirety of Open Beta 2. Biggest things here, I think Nem actually is a pretty decent buff. Cab's okay, Danza's pretty good. They're all pretty solid. Nothing out here strikes me insane. This is pretty. I mean, but I think this should be a thing with the raw thing. With the aspect that he has, should not be doing that much base. Aladdin's getting a pretty decent pretty decent nerf here. I mean, that's basically the most we have there. I mean, you have Hecate. These are all smaller nerfs that are pretty solid, I suppose. And then we already went over the items. Vulcan, Hunbats, and everything. So pretty cool. And yep, Vulcan. Glad they're doing some new things to Joust and Duel. I'm glad they're paying attention to more of the matchmaking for those games, and then obviously some added things that they didn't have before, which I appreciate now is being added in, which is really nice. So that's the video. I haven't done one of these like long ass patch notes reviews in a while. That's because SMITE 1 was lacking that content, but here it is, hour-long video for you people. I believe this is live for everything except Hunbats not being live, so we have to wait for that February 3rd. But that is everything that I have for you. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below about the new open beta patch notes. Tell me what you guys think of it. If you think my opinion is wrong, go ahead. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm open to being wrong or disagreement or maybe agreement. You never know. Still new to this, as a lot of people are. So, Discord in the description down below if you want to join it. Memberships are open, I think 99 cents a month, and then there's another tier for $2.99 a month on YouTube if you so desire. Obviously, not necessary, but very much appreciated. And then I think that's... Oh, I like to plug my Twitch now. Twitch in the description down below. I'm still streaming on Twitch right now. Probably won't be when the video is uploaded, but I do stream on Twitch Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays if you like to come out. Usually later in the night. But yeah, Twitch in the description down below if you want to look at that, follow, and everything. But I think that is everything I have for you. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching.